Okay, so we're going to be dealing with. I'm going to make my font size big. All right. With SQL statements, you generally have your select statements, which are retrieving data, right? What are the other ones you have? Insert. What's the next one? Delete. Drop table. Delete. Remember when I told you that I always put them with capital letters, but it's not necessary. It's not case sensitive. Instruct statements are not, and update is the last one. So those are the four main types that we work with. Realize if you're dealing with structure or creating databases or tables or something like that, that's when you deal with things like your create, your drop table, your drop drop schema or whatever if you're looking at MySQL. But we don't examine you on those at all. I mean, it's I think in your data aware task you asked to do it, but then we just use a MySQL workbench and it generates that SQL statements for you because you never asked to use it again. Anyway, the insert statement on from there, this will allow you to add, your delete will obviously to remove, and your update to edit. Now, your select statements are where it becomes quite tricky. Normally, you would always follow your select. That's not how you spell select. You would then put your fields down. You would then say from, and you guys remember I showed you that area where there's a select from, and then you would have tables. And then what's the other options would you have after that?
Where?
You could have a where condition, which would limit it. What other ones would you have?
There's the ordering.
You have an order by, order by. What else do we have?
Joins.
Your joins technically would fall before your where statement, so your inner joins would form here. I want to put those in brackets because, so your joins. Your inner joins, as I said, we can just use in your where condition, and that's the easy way for your inner joins. Your left and your right joins aren't often you can often avoid them by using ins and not ins and that kind of stuff. But you can also use your inner joins and your left joins and your right joins. I am not going to directly ask anything other than an inner join in this test of yours now. So you can basically, as far as joins are concerned, you can just deal directly with your where condition where you would link your foreign key and your primary key. Do you guys get that? So you just create the link between the table and the where condition for your level that we're going to be doing it in. An outer join or a left join, I'm not going to directly ask. Let me just pause quickly. Continue with what we're doing. As I said, you guys will not be asked on joins. So I'm going to put that with a, I want to make a note here, a comment. New comment. Will not be asked in test or exams. Where condition can link. Oh yeah, now order by, and then you would say order by field. Now the only different things that you can have attached to there is something like a, you could have a ASC for ascending or DSC for descending. Now one thing that I never remember if it goes before the field that's ascending or descending or after the field that should be ascended or descending by. I never remember that. So you try one. Grant, do you remember? Does this go there or does it go after? So it was correct in my first place. Okay. So you would put ascending or descending, and then you would have anything if you do it.
You put ascending though, it's default ascending. You just do descending if you want to specify.
Yeah, true. But I just wanted to say with the ascending just so that people could acknowledge that it exists,
Okay.
more than for any other reason. Whoa, hello.
That's trippy.
It's very trippy. Freaking me out, man.
Control the
Look. No such. Damn it. I want you to be normal. Why are you not being normal? Okay, perhaps I should control Z, but anyway, not the point. Let me pause this because we're talking about group by. I'm just going to say that on the video, it was paused still. So what does a group by do? It means it will put together what fields of the same name. So if you group by something, you're saying everything with the same will be grouped together. So for example, if I say grouped by gender, it will put all males together and put all female results together. And if you group by you either have to have in your fields, which we'll talk about just now, here you would just state which field is going to happen. In your group by, you'll need to specify your fields would have to be either an aggregate function or have to be grouped by that field. Does that make sense? So it either have some way of aggregating it, which means collating it. So is it doing it as sum? Is it counting them? Is it averaging them? Is it what? So it has to have some form of a what was the English I was using? It would have to have an aggregate or it would have to be a group by. Otherwise you can't display that field. Otherwise it's like, okay, what do I do with that field? Does that make sense? So in the fields, there's a lot of things you can do with fields, and I'm just going to talk about that briefly here. On the fields, you can do aggregate functions, which I was just mentioning just now. What aggregate functions do we have? We have sum.
Count.
Well, okay, sum, what does that do? That just totals, right? A count. When you count, you should count by the
Primary key.
yeah. Or star. Okay, average is another one. Average. I don't know if there's a count if function. I don't think so. I think you'd have to put that in the where condition. Yeah, you'd have to put that in the where condition. I'm pretty sure those sort of weird things aren't there. Okay, so average, sum, count, that's pretty much the only ones that you deal with. Just to keep it conventional, I think I should keep this with the capitals. Okay, so those are your aggregate functions. On from there, text manipulation. Now, how do you concatenate? Have you guys heard that term? Concatenate means you are appending different two texts together. You do that with ampersand sign. So you would say e.g. field 1 ampersand field 2. Do you guys get that? And that will just put them together, so append whatever's in the field 1 with whatever in the field 2. Does that make sense? Other functions you have there is you have something called left. Okay, so ampersand sign I'm actually going to put at the beginning. And this is to concatenate. And then your left function would be field, comma, number. So e.g. If I said there left, technically I could even do this. If I said left, and this is a pretty stupid one, if I said left cheese, comma 2, it would equal, it would return, so you guys get when I say equal, I'm just saying this is what it will return. It will return ch. That's what it would return. So do you guys get what that would do? And if I said right field, comma, hash dash e.g. right cheese comma 2, this would return C. Do you guys get that? There's also something called mid. Now ironically, I've seen a lot of people use comma start hash comma hash. Do you guys get it? So I'm just going to put there start number, end number. Do you guys follow that? Now ironically, what I've seen people do, which I find kind of funny, is I've seen people trying to use mid to do a right, and that's quite difficult because then they use something called, I think it is a len function, which I think would be as part of the, which would be another type. I don't know how often you'll need to find this, but this is quite uncommon, so I actually would like Grant to pay attention for this as well, because it does come up there. I think it's len, or it's leng, I think it might just be len. They will just find the length of that field, so if the field was cheese, it would return 5, or 6, sorry. So it will return, and I've seen someone try to do a right function with a mid function with using the end point being a len, which was quite tricky. And actually, it was sad the person didn't get the mark because they miscalculated it by one position.
That sounds like something Kyle would do.
Now, the next thing that we got there is you'd put the len field. You'd put that so that we start and end that you get them. So for example, here if I said mid. Now this is where I also get tricky. So I'll just literally run it and try it until I could get it working. So if I said mid cheese, comma 2, comma 4. Now here's which I don't ever remember. I should actually I would just test it and I would run it and I'll test it. So we can actually even run. Do you want to run this SQL statement to just check what it does return? To my knowledge, it would either return. I've forgotten if the second parameter means number of characters after the starting position, or if it means where it should stop. I always forget that. So, and also I forget that whether it's 1 is position 1 or 0 is position 1. I think 1 is position 1 in SQL, but we're just going to run it to see if it works. It doesn't matter which database we use because it's irrelevant. We're doing it with cheese. We're just going to create an SQL statement here. Query design, go away, SQL.
Guys, how do you underline what's that?
So if I go select, we've got the select mid cheese. I know it's a bit small, but run it. And it'll be he's. So it does 4 characters from the position on there. Is that right?
No, that's the 4th letter in cheese.
So in other words, I made it bad. So let's just say, let's do 2, 2.
2, 2, yeah.
Let's see what it does with 2, 2 so we can know the answer. 2, 2, run. Okay, so it's 2 characters. It's the number of characters after the starting position. Okay, so number of characters after starting position. So let's do an example of, if I did 2, 2, it would return he. So we'll take from position 2 and take 2 characters afterwards. Okay, so it is number of characters after. So
change where it says end.
Oh, thank you. Num char dash. Okay. Now len field. Let's just double check that this is happening with the len. Otherwise, I don't want to put notes up there that isn't actually true. So let's just do len cheese. Although, quite frankly, I was trying to lessen the amount that I was going to test you grade 11s on, and then now because I want to show Grant something, potentially I'm making more. No, all of a sudden you have like other stuff. Alright, so you check, so len, it is len, would just return the length of that word. Your date manipulation functions, you get like a whole bunch of them, day, year, month. I think there's other ways of concatenating them. You can even treat them like an integer. You can convert them to a string, etc. But
did you know?
Guys, we're going to move on from here with regards to your fields. I've just done aggregate functions and text manipulation functions. The only other one I'm going to deal with, and only briefly, is basic calculations. And the idea of calculations inside fields, is basically literally you can go plus. Guess what plus does? Adds. Guess what minus does?
Subtract.
This is rocket science. Oh, hello. I decided to make it into a bullet point. Don't do that. Well, that's actually funny. Minus. Actually, no, don't want to do that. Don't do that. Minus, dash, or subtract. That's just confusing, man. And then a star. What does star do?
Multiplies letters from maths.
And then.
What's your math lit?
Oh. Sorry, that shouldn't be. Oh. This is a recommend. Okay, anyway, not the point. So a star. Then what else? What else?
What? Divide. So
Divide is that one, right? Thank you. I forgot my maths for a short while. So you can do those calculations in there. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is your where conditions. So your where conditions would be items that you're working on there. Now, realize there is also date. I'm just going to put it there because, quite frankly, this is becoming, without me intending it to, quite a comprehensive document. So I'm going to put the date, and this would then be not in this assessment.
not applicable.
But be aware. It's coming for you.
It will snipe you one day.
Alright, now in your where conditions, there's a couple of things here. Now technically I'm not going to put the title where, I'm going to put the title there conditions. And you guys understand the conditions would follow after the fields. So here these are field manipulations more than anything, and here we're going through where conditions. Now obviously you have your basic conditions. You would have equals, so you would say field equals, you could do a certain value if it's text. You could do field is equal to a number, for example. Do you guys get that? And those would be comparison equals to. I think that's quite basics, but we need to state basics as well. Well, you could also obviously have greater than, but this is only numerical. You can't say greater than text. So here you would have to do numerical. Obviously, then there would be less than.
Less than equals, greater than equals.
Yeah. And not equal to. Funny enough, there's also another thing. Is when you're doing then you do a greater than. Can I just list them on the same line?
Yeah.
Dash less than or equal to dash greater than or equal to. Now this is the interesting one. Is you have this, which is not equal. Well, hello. Don't change that, you stupid word. This is not equal to.
What is that?
This is only for numbers, eh? I can't then compare text with that. Do you guys understand why? Because that's basically saying it must be less than or greater than, but that means it must not be equal to. That works for numbers. It does not work for text.
So we're not going to have to learn like logic gates kind.
Well, yes, because your and and your ors would be statements that would need to be added in there. Even with it's not
XOR and NOR.
No.
No.
No. Well, technically you do them, but you don't do them as an XOR. Actually, no. You suppose you could have an XOR, but I haven't worked with XOR in SQL.
Please don't.
Yeah. Now the next thing we have there is you have something like, what if I wanted to compare a text? You use the term like, and a like will work. For example, if I said where field is like, and this is where you need to use a wildcard character. So this is for text. If I said star bacon star, that would mean it would need to be contained. Does that make sense? Bacon needs to be anywhere in there. If I said star bacon, it means it would need to end in bacon. Does that make sense? If I said bacon star, means it would have to start with bacon. Do you guys get that? So the wildcard character means that it can be anything in those in between items. I don't know why that one's got a bigger enter than all the rest. Makes no sense. Okay, there we go. Alright, so those are your kind of conditions. You join your conditions with and. So field 1 is equal to bacon, and field 2 is equal to is less than 10, for argument's sake. Do you guys get that? So that would then do a comparison, and means both conditions have to be true. BODMAS is also applicable, eh? Not BODMAS, is it BODMAS? Brackets, yes. BODMAS is applicable in this. So your OR would be I.E. Field 1 you guys get that this would just be that one, all the other would have to be applicable. I realize you could also do use brackets. So BODMAS, I actually thought it was brackets of, do you want this division, multiplication, addition, subtraction, is that correct? Okay. So BODMAS does apply. I.E. I could say field 1 is equal to cheese, or field 1 is equal to bacon, and field 2 is less than 10. So this would mean that it would have to be cheese or bacon, but it would have to be less than 10.
Good morning.
Oh, what's the, is this?
Okay, yeah, there. That was beautiful.
We did. Oh, I'm still recording. Oops. So you guys get the. Do you understand the logic of this, right?
Yeah.
So that's your where conditions. And you can have multiple conditions on there. Your order by is simply enough. Do I need to add that into here? Order by just orders by that. Group by potentially, but you've got examples. This is more just the notes on that. So you've already got examples of group by fields, etc. And you remember you have to concatenate here or use your add grid functions there. So I'm not going to add that to this document. Your inserts, it's quite simple. Your inserts, aren't they? I mean, your inserts literally are insert into, and you'd have the table there, and then you'd have open brackets field 1, comma. Now the one tricky thing or that people forget about is if a field is a automatically generated number, do we add it?
Yes.
Were you trying to turn on the air conditioner? I need to turn on. Something smells weird in here. That's what I'm feeling. Anyway, this is on the video. Damn it. So you then add values. What follows? You then have
Open brackets, value 1, value 2, value 3.
value 1.
24,000 rand.
And obviously, these would need to be the same type. On that note, text is enclosed with.
Single inverted commas.
Guys, just so you know, single inverted commas or double inverted commas. The reason why I use single is because it helps you when you move across to Java and creating SQL statements in Java. Then it can help distinguish between your. Now, date is enclosed in hashes, and if a multi-worded field name or is enclosed in, do you guys, square brackets, do you guys know what I mean by that? So I.e, if a field is called first space name, it would need to be, well, I don't know why I'm saying this out loud, referred to as first name. And it's the same thing. Something I didn't. The other thing that we've got there is other. I'm just gonna put the other heading. Not.
I love it. Not in this assessment, but beware it's coming for you.
I was just thinking of something in the other part when I was talking about the field names. Oh, as to name a field. I.e. Field 1 multiplied by 5 as something. And the square brackets would work with that there. Now, something is one word. Damn it! What is 2 words?
So just make it like
Something else.
Make it as result, because something else is vague in it. When it's later down and you're trying to study for this document.
Oh yeah, I'll call it field name. New field name. New field name. Okay. Now, if I go down to here, I'll put that kind of over here. I didn't put in my conditions, I didn't put a not there. So my conditions should have a not, must include their not. Opposite to following, and you have to keep to BODMAS when you use not. Do you guys get the idea of not? Whatever, if a condition returns true, it will return false. If a condition returns, so you could potentially, when you use not, I would suggest you put brackets after it. So now would you put the conditions afterwards? Does that kind of make sense? So whatever's inside this bracket will return the opposite to whatever that is. So you could do that like that. Now, your inserts are easy enough. There is where you have to insert, there's a couple of things that I'm not referring to here, like the function like in. In is a condition area. I'm just going to note it in here just so that it's in is not in this test. Isn't that funny? No. Okay. You guys are either too tired. No, I've lost you completely, or I'm just not funny. One or the other.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
How do I convert?
Now, the next item that we've got there, delete dash remove. You can do a nested insert. No man.
Probably 60 and above.
That's not going to be not in test, so ignore it for now. Delete. When you delete, how does it go?
I don't know, sir.
Delete fields, leave blank for all, or use star. If you leave it blank, it will delete the record. Or if you use star, it will delete the record. If you just state a field, it will only delete that field. Does that kind of make sense? But if you leave it blank, it will delete the record. You'd say delete, then you'd say from, then it would be table, and then you'd go where, then it would have condition. And your condition is the same as above. Do you guys get that?
Sure.
Now, on from that, in note here, if want to delete single record, always use PK. PK stands for primary key. Update. Update table set field to equal value. Value should be in where condition. If want, to only update single record, use PK. That's it, guys. That's your SQL test in a nutshell. Goodbye.
Cheers, thank you.